Every warrior walks a different path. Samurai, the path of discipline. Ronin, the path of independence. Ninja, the path of strategy. Zen monk, the path of wisdom. Shogun, the path of power. But today, we explore the path of the Ronin. Your kindness is a lie. It is not a virtue. It is a mask for your terror. You are the fragile pleaser. You agree because you lack the spine to disagree. You say yes to every demand, every favor, and every imposition because the thought of a stranger's disapproval feels like a death sentence. You call yourself a nice person. I call you a social coward. You have turned your soul into a doormat and wonder why the world treats you like dirt. You are currently being harvested. Your energy is the tribute you pay to keep the peace, but there is no peace in a man who has no boundaries. The mystery of your failure is that you think being liked will protect you. It won't. It only marks you as easy prey. You're a ghost inhabiting a life that belongs to everyone else but you. The paradox is your cage. By trying to belong to everyone, you belong to no one, least of all yourself. You have committed the ultimate sin of social weakness. You have traded your primary identity for a seat at a table where you aren't even respected. You tell yourself you are being helpful, but help without the power to say no is just servitude. You have abandoned the internal fortress of the warrior for the approval of a crowd that will forget your name the moment you stop being useful. You're a puppet, dancing on strings pulled by people who don't even like you. Ancient standards of mastery demanded a man be a mountain, unmoved by the wind of opinion. Modern decay has turned you into a withered leaf, blown by every social breeze. Tomoe Gozen didn't seek approval. She stood in the freezing mud of the Genpei War, a woman in a world of iron-willed men who viewed her as an impossibility. She didn't ask for permission to be a warrior. She became the storm. Imagine the scent of wet horsehair and the metallic sting of blood in the air at the Battle of Owazu. The air was a wall of frost that burned the lungs. Tomoe didn't look for a thank you or a nod of agreement. She looked for the center of the enemy's formation. She wore heavy, black lacquered armor that pressed into her shoulders, a physical weight that matched the gravity of her intent. Her naginata wasn't a tool for kindness. It was a boundary made of steel. She sat atop her stallion, her breath a white plume in the mountain pass. She could feel the vibration of thousands of boots churning the earth into a bloody slurry. Her lord, Yoshinaka, was surrounded. The world was screaming for their heads. Tomoe didn't check to see if her actions were socially acceptable. She moved with a singular, terrifying focus. She rode into the thick of the Minamoto vanguard, the silk of her amber banners whipping in the gale. She understood that a warrior who cannot command their own boundaries is already dead on the field. She didn't listen to the roar of the crowd. She listened to the silence of her own mastery. She took the head of the strongest enemy rider not for praise, but because it was necessary. The mechanics of your failure are rooted in your lack of shingi, the unified spirit. You are the fragile pleaser because you have prioritized harmony over truth. You are available to everyone, which means you are a resource, not a human. You seek validation instead of respect. You have optimized your life for the path of least resistance, and the result is a life that leaves no footprint. Every time you swallow a no to keep the peace, you are deepening the void. You think you are keeping friends. You're actually just financing your own disappearance. The friction of your life comes from the conflict between your biological drive for sovereignty and your psychological leash. But since you refuse to cut the leash, you're just a well-behaved slave. You're itching to skip this part. You want to go back to a place where everyone agrees with you. You want a like to soothe the burn of this diagnosis. I don't give likes, I give reality. You are watching this right now, wondering if I approve of your realization. I don't. My approval is just another drug for your addiction. You're trying to find a way to make self-mastery look like a personality trait. It isn't. It is a violent rejection of everyone else's expectations. If you are waiting for a safe space to start having a spine, you have already lost. Wake up. Tomoe Gozen survived the slaughter at Awazu because she was her own master. When Yoshinaka ordered her to flee, not because she was weak, but because he wanted her to live, she didn't argue to please him. She performed one final legendary act of violence to prove her worth, then vanished into the mountains as a Ronin of the spirit. She understood that in the end, your identity is the only thing you truly own. She didn't leave a legacy of getting along. She left a legacy of standing firm while the world tried to break her. The path of weathered amber demands that you reclaim your borders. You must develop a taste for the discomfort of others. You must build an internal world so fortified that the opinions of the world shatter against your gates. Strip off the mask of the pleaser. Throw away the leash you handed to society. You're no longer allowed to be a doormat. You're the architect of your own isolation, and in that isolation, you will find your power. Kill the weakness. Seize the boundary. Master the self. Every warrior walks a different path. Samurai, the path of discipline. Ronin, the path of independence. Ninja, the path of strategy. Zen monk, the path of wisdom. Shogun, the path of power. Which one are you? Comment below.